Greetings, Earth enthusiasts. If you ever wondered about the incredible perspectives our planet has to offer from high above, you're in the right place. I am Dr. Clive Coetzee, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this captivating journey into the world of remote sensing. Welcome. And please remember to like, subscribe to, and share this video. Thank you.
In the previous video tutorial 94, we focused specifically on the build index, and we generated a build index image for my region of interest for 2024, and then we used thresholding to try to identify and isolate urban structures or urban areas. So that was the purpose of it, and as I said in a couple of videos back, that will be the focus of our next several video tutorials, is to use different indices, different methods to try to isolate urban areas, urban structures. And I said the main issue here is the similarity between urban structures, urban areas, and bare soil, and that's what we're trying to. And I specifically refer to an article, this particular article here, Determination of Urban Areas, and I specifically looking within this article, they have included a number of possible indexes or indices to try to isolate urban structures. And I said I think this is an ongoing process, is to find the right band combinations within the daytime image within Sentinel or Landsat that can efficiently and effectively differentiate between the two classes, urban structures, urban areas, and soil, bare soil on the other hand. So we're going to go to a second one today. I'm saying a second one because I don't really think as a normalized difference build-up index as one per se. I use the NDBI basically as this is a stepping stone to the build index. Okay, build-up index. So we've done the build-up index. Okay, so that's number one done. So now we're going to go to the second one. If you look at this, we're going to look at the urban index. We're going to look at the urban index. Okay. Now the urban index uses again the shortwave infrared and the near infrared. This is normalized, and then we plus 1 and we multiply by 100. And I assume that's to get a percent. Okay, to get a percent. Okay, so that's the one that we're going to focus on today in this video tutorial. Okay, so we're going to go to our trusted Earth engine, and I've already started with it. So we're going to isolate two bands. Okay, remember, we're going to isolate shortwave infrared and near infrared. Okay, so those are the two bands that we're going to isolate. So we've got our shortwave infrared, which is band 12, and then we're going to isolate our near infrared, which is band 8. Just to confirm, we go to our data sets, and within our data sets, we go to Sentinel, and eventually, we're going to go to Sentinel 2, and then from Sentinel 2, we're going to go to surface reflectance. I've never actually worked with top of atmosphere reflectance. I've actually never worked with it, so I'm not sure whether this is better than that. In my intuition tells me the surface reflectance is the better option. So maybe worthwhile at some point to make a video on comparing the two. Anyway, so I'm going to go to my Sentinel 2, my surface reflectance. I'm going to go to my bands, and I'm looking for shortwave infrared 2, which is band 12. You can see that, and near infrared, which is band 8. Okay, so I isolate it. Then I'm basically just going to use the formula, which is subtract and then divide by adding. Then I'm going to add my 1 and I'm going to multiply by 100. So exactly that part there, this equation here, is basically that part there. I minus, I plus, I divide the 2, I plus this part with 1 and then multiply by 100. And that's what I do there. I take the shortwave infrared, I subtract it with a near, then I divide by the shortwave infrared plus that. That gives me a normalized index. Okay, normalized difference index. Then I add the 1, and then I multiply. Remember to use your brackets. Remember, we follow the similar bot muscle rules, okay? We follow the bot muscle rules. I rename it as Urban Index. Here's my visualization parameters. Now again, this is a shot in the dark. I don't know this. I'm just putting it in. My palettes is black, blue, and green, and I add it. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Because we haven't, I've only displayed it, not the NDBI, I'm not interested in that. The Urban Index 2024, which is Urban Index 2024. Let's zoom it in. Now I'm going to follow the methodology that I used before. First of all, I need to get the min-max sorted. Because I've just basically made an estimated guess here. I don't know what the min-max is, and that's why you see when we display the image, it doesn't look very, very nice. It basically is saying absolutely nothing. It's crap. So the first thing that we want to do is to create a min-max so that to generate the min-max so that we can properly visualize it. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to my code where I do the min-max, which is this one. I copy it, I go to 330, I add it in here below. Let me just create space here, more space, create space. So I'm going to use this layer. Okay, so I'm going to use that layer, and I'm going to use that layer, and then I'm going to print it. Okay, so what I've done now is I've added the code. I can now call it different names here, but that's not a main issue and stuff. So we're going to generate this min-max now. Okay, so we're going to take this image and we're going to generate the minimum value. I'm going to take this image or layer and I'm create a maximum value for my region of interest. Remember, I keep my scale at 900. By trial and error, I found this to be the better option. So let's run it. I'm not going to change the images now because we're going to rerun it as soon as we change the min-max values here. Okay, so now we need to find out which one. So that's NDVI, so I'm not interested in that. That's build-up index, not interested in that. Okay, that's not, there we go. There's the build-up index. Okay, UI, remember UI 2024, UI 2024. So the maximum value, the minimum value is 46. So let's make it 45. And the maximum value is 123. You see, I'm way out here. So let's make it, let's make it 124. Okay, so I'm using this minimum maximum value to update this. Okay, I'm not doing the colors as yet. Let's just first run the image and see what it looks like, and then we can play around with the colors. So let's go to 330. That's where my code is for this particular one. Build up index, there we go. There's my build up index. Okay, so let's unselect what we're not looking at for. There's my index for 2024. Come on. Let's, wrong one. I said a word that I should not supposed to say on air. Let's just undelete. That's the problem when you have so many layers activated. You see, it's already much better than the previous one. But you can see again, it indicates a lot of bare soil here. So now we can play around with let's go to a typical urban area and see what the colors look like. It's again very red. Let's use the inspector to see whether it lies on the upper side or the low to the minimum side or the maximum side. Then we can play around with these colors. Let's see, where is it now? Build up index 2014. Sorry, build up index, where is it? Urban index, sorry, there. It's 120. So it lies to the top part here. You can see there, 120. So let's add another color in there. We're going to have black. I'm going to change that to I'm going to change that to green. Then I'm going to make it blue. then I'm gonna make it brown and then red. No, that one there must. Okay, so I'm gonna black, which will be minimum, then green, then blue. Remember, it sort of divides it equally, so it creates 1, 2, 3, 5 bins now between a minimum and a. That's like normal statistics. So let's run it again and see what that looks now. Let's go back to where we're supposed to be here, the code. We remember we're playing around with the visualization, but I'm not going to spend too much time. What we're going to do is to use the thresholding now. So there is our urban index. Let's see what if it looks a bit better. We can also play around with the visualization parameters using the visualization parameter function, which is this one there. Okay, we can play around with that. Let's zoom in and see. It looks, that doesn't, oh no, that looks much worse. Now this looks terrible. Now, so adding the brown there actually creates more dramas than anything else. If I include it here, brown, you don't have to include anything. I'm just giving it one more shot. Then I'm gonna, okay, so let's run it again. Let's delete it. That didn't come out very nice at all, to be perfectly honest. That was a step in the wrong direction, but that's the way you trial and error. That's the way you trial and error. So let's see now what this looks like. A lot of blue, but okay. The reds are better, so we can change the blue to green, or we can actually change the blue, the brown. Yeah, we can actually change rearrange it a bit here. Where's the blue? We can actually make it blue there and brown there. Let's have a look and see in my urban area here what the colors look like. Yeah, it doesn't look too good, huh? Doesn't look too good. Doesn't look too good. You see, most of this urban area is blue. There's just too much blue. So I would venture to say we need to have another color here. Let's make it orange. Let's see. See, this is quite addictive. Once you start with this, playing around with these colors, although you say you're going to stop, there's always something that you can add, always something that you can try to make it even better. So more bins. When your thresholds are very close, when the indices between the various objects are very close, then obviously the more bins the better. That doesn't always mean that more bins are better. You'll have to play around with it, urban index. Let's have a look and see. Ooh, okay. Anyway. It's interesting, to say the least. It's very interesting to say the least. Anyway, it does give a very nice indication of green and blues and stuff. So when you can play around with it. Okay, I think you get the drift. We can play around with it. But again, so what we want to interesting now, remember, we are looking at, let's quickly go back. I think it was 120 there, but. So let's have a look and see urban index close to the top end. In fact, it's 129, so that's okay, much higher than that. Okay, so let's make this 130. That's the issue with with the scale. It's not always that nice. So let's quickly run it. So maybe that will give us a better value, but I wanna move on. I wanna move on. So this is my last one. Then we're gonna move on. Otherwise, we're gonna sit here for the whole day, and we're gonna do marginal issues, and that's not the point of it. Look at this now. Okay, so let's go on. Why is that one not deactivated? Okay, we said it's 129. So, but you can see again the problem here is with the bare swells. Bare swell. I mean, if we didn't have bare swells, I think we would be okay. Anyway, so let's say we're happy with this. What does you see the green here for the golf course here? The blue seems to be. What is the blue? Let's quickly have and see what does the blue indicates. You see, blue is more sandy stuff. Yeah, sort of bushes, shrubs, the blue, and then obviously that leads into the green. Let's say if so we've got that value there is 100 and that typical build-up area is 120, 129. I've put here on bare soil. Let's see bare soil. That looks build-up index. Urban index 118. So let's use a threshold of 120. You see, let's use a threshold of 120 and then see if we can isolate it. Okay, so I'm not going to use a smaller, I'm just going to use a bigger than. So we're going to go up, find our code. Let's see, where's our threshold code? Let me find it. And then I'm going to copy this. And we're going to go to our code that we're busy working up, which is this code here. And then I'm just going to paste it in. I'm going to paste it in, and then I'm going to just have to change it. So, well, this is the, let's call it, what do you call it? UI, Urban Index Mask. So that gives us an Urban Index, and we want it, greater to equal we said about 120. Okay, let's delete that part there. And then, so we're looking at our UI index, Urban Index 2024 image, this one here that we've created here. And we said that we're only interested in the values, the index values of 120 above. And we used our inspector to sort of get an understanding of what that threshold value would be. And so I'm only greater or equal to 120. I'm not looking at less than. Let's have a look. I'm going to mask, I'm not going to mask it now because I want a background. And I'm just going to change the name, UI. And here I'm just going to change the name again to UI, still black and red. And then UI and UI, and then Urban Index, call it mask. Urban Index mask, that's what's there. Urban Index mask visualization parameters. Make sure all our things are right, and let's run it. Console, no dramas. Okay, so there's nothing red, so we should be fine. Let's just go to our, okay, so remember we used 120. Okay, so there it sits. Let's add that layer to my layers, that threshold, 120 threshold image. It added that to my layers. Let's just see how that looks. Ah, come on. Stubborn. Don't be stubborn. Okay. Let's just wait for it to load. Let's go back. Okay, there it's going to start loading. let's see whether we can isolate it. Okay, so this is the end result. This is the end result. Where's the other one? Let's for interest just say this one as well. Remember, this is the one that we did for the build-up index. Okay, you can see, okay, much more red, but anyway, this is less red, but most probably, let's look at our urban area here, see if it captures our urban area. You see again, it ignores a number of locations or areas, and it includes a lot of sandy areas. Let's look at, you see, if we, so let's see what the values of these areas are. So let's go inspector, click on that, and see what the actual index values are. Let's go and have a look and see. 127, you see, we're way above. So we can't actually, otherwise we must make it smaller then. So we have to bring in a smaller one. I'm just clicking here at the urban area here. So we may have to bring in a smaller then. It's 125. So let's bring in a smaller than part as well. Let's go, because it seems like we are going to have a threshold. So I'm going to do that one there. I'm going to copy that part there, and then we're going to add it in here. Okay, so it's UI. So we're going to use UI, and let's say less than 127. Okay. And then we're going to say greater than 120. So let's see whether that excludes some of that sandy areas. Maybe the sandy area is higher, the bare soil area is higher in index value than the urban area. So let's have a look and see if we can run it now. So let's run it now and see how it looks. Okay, so I've created I refined my threshold. But you can still see the problem with the bare soil. It's almost identical. So we have to use, first step to improve this is to use winter images. I don't think we're going to have much of luck here. But anyway, let's try. So we've used these thresholds, okay? It looks like there's almost nothing. Okay, so let's just wait. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, there's nothing there. Ah, sorry, made a mistake there. UI should be UI. I forgot to correct it. Okay, UI 2020 less than. Let's make sure UI it is UI. UI 2024. You can just highlight it. You'll see it will highlight all the UIs. So that's correct. Run it again. Sorry, that's my bad. Run it again. Let's have a look now and see what it looks like. Come on. I hate it when I struggle. Easily frustrated. Come on. Yay. Almost said the word again. Okay, so let's have a look and see. Let's go to our okay, so remember less than 127 and more than 120. Okay. There you sit. Did it decrease the number of high areas? Let's have a look. Remember there was one that was sitting here somewhere there. Let's see. So it's still there. So let's decrease that to 125 and decrease that to 117. So why are you doing this now? What must there, that 1007, must there be a comma there? Oh, there we go. So let's replay that now. Let's run. See whether that makes a bit. So this is, as I said, trial and error. There's unfortunately nothing extremely scientific about it, except that it's trial and error. There's no method where you have that you can use to do this automatically, or to do. Ooh, this doesn't. That worsened it quite a bit. So that didn't work. So it's definitely not on this side there. We need to, because that worsened the whole thing. That just makes so it didn't really capture more of the urban areas. Yeah, it did capture a little bit more of the urban areas, but it also captured much more of the bare soils. So that's not really much. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I think you get the idea. Let's intersect what was the threshold indicated in this article. Remember, unfortunately, this is Lancet. Urban Index, 90 to 130, which is not very different from what we have. We have 125 to 117, so it's on the upper end, but you can see there's quite a bit overlap there between the two. So again, not a very efficient way. It's minimum 64. We're not that far away, huh? We're not that far away from the Lancet. We're not that far away. Anyway, we can still play around with it, but I think you get the idea. And this is using what they call the Urban Index. The Urban Index. Is it good? Relative? Not really. It's not much better than the build-up index. Not better than the build-up index. So that's called the Urban Index. Nonetheless, it's another tool in your toolbox. It's another potential method. I'm sure with refinement we can improve it, make it better. Next one, what we're going to call is called the New Build-Up Index. So let's have a look and see the New Build-Up Index. How does that look? That's what we're going to do next up. The New Build-Up Index. That uses 3 bands. New Build-Up Index, short wave infrared 1, red, and near infrared. So it uses the 3. That's what we're going to do in the next one. That's what we're going to do in the next one. Okay, thanks, boys and girls. Thank you for joining me on this journey of remote sensing. We're exploring, we're testing, we're analyzing, we're learning. We're creating new knowledge. We're creating interesting ideas here. And I think this will face everybody. I don't think this is unique to my region of interest. But it's an interesting dilemma nonetheless, and something that I think needs further interrogation. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So again, thanks for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe. Please, please, please. It's fuel for the journey. It's my petrol that keeps me going. And for those that have already subscribed, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. With that said, I'll see you on the other side.